like when you just said from 70 to 1990, that's like almost a 20-year period of just building and just struggling and just bubbling up the idea and just tightening up and just putting it together and just tucking it. That I never really thought about. When I came to prison in the early 2000s, the document was there, and when I came in contact with the wisdom from people like you and other brothers, a lot of that was already formulated. So thank you for sharing some of the steps of how that package came together. Yo, the chat is popping, man. We got a lot of energy in the chat, man. We got
so let's answer.
Ain't no questions, just love, man. We got to shout out to George Jackson and Jonathan Jackson. And I know you always talk about how the Attica, how that was deeply connected and influenced by Oakland and by what they was doing out there in George Jackson and them. I don't know if you want to say anything about that.
Yo, man. All you got to do is, as a member of Resurrection, we have an eye to look out for youth leadership. When I met Corey, we was in Clinton. I ain't know him, but I seen something in him. Ask him what book I gave him.
George Jackson, no question.
Soledad Brothers.
George Jackson on a low.
Come on, man. She on point.
In a towel. Tell me how you gave it, because if you don't let people know how you gave it to me, they don't understand the political process that you went through. You heard to get that to me.
Exactly, man. And that's George and Jonathan. And when we talk about Cain and Abel, two brothers, and then we talk about John and George and Jonathan, you have to look at it the same. Even though Cain killed Abel, George killed Jonathan. And when you look at leadership critically, you might say, oh, how you going to say that, Black God? But this is what we do in the Resurrection Study Group. We look at how each member affects every other member. This is how we look at that. You know what I'm saying? And that's a critical critique. And Jonathan was going to do Jonathan regardless, but that's a way to look at it. You know what I'm saying? And I implore us to start looking at things like that, man.
No, but I never heard that feedback. That's definitely love, man. I think part of where we are struggling in some of our healing as Black people and as movement people is we don't get enough time to study the learned lessons of past movements. And the learned lessons of past movements is not only studying how people won or how people strategize, but also studying the ways that we made mistakes and the way that we lost and the ways that we made moves probably.
Just capitalize that. She said Jonathan, a 17-year-old man child who literally follows his brother to his death. That's what's up.
But also to add on to our big bros and our elders and our ancestors, Jonathan and George, you also talk a lot about how their movement also inspired what was going on in New York too.
Us to look at movements everywhere, because the thing was to make sure that if an Attica do happen, we got leadership there. So we got to look at all of those movements. We looked at what was going on in California with Jonathan and Soledad prisons and how they was moving, and they was moving in solidarity. You know what I'm saying? And those sent lessons. You got to remember, it was George's idea with Angela to bridge the gap between the community and the prison.
Talk about that.
California.
Talk about that. The prison and the community.
Yes.
Shout out to Angela Davis too, man, our big sister. Yeah. But you said it was George and Angela's idea. What?
Yes. Because you hear all this community Pacifics and all of that. That was the idea. And that's when Berkeley and what's the other college that not Yale, is another major college.
In the Bay Area though. I don't know, man, but you dropping that Bay wisdom.
Yeah.
Berkeley is definitely in there.
That's the history. The George and Angela, they got the colleges to come in. And that's the first time
Oh,
society,
you talking about
community.
UCLA? Angela was at UCLA
Yeah,
then, right?
there you go, UCLA.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. That's the college. They
Mm-hmm.
got them to come in, and that's the first time the outside, the community, the society began to see the atrocities and the what was going on in the prison system firsthand.
You dropping so much wisdom, big bro. Keep it going.
You making me remember all of this stuff, and that's a good thing, bro. That's a real good thing. That's what that intergenerational movement is about. Because once you connect the links, it's stronger. And when we get more links, we hold more together. We lock more in.
We
So
got people saying keep dropping that knowledge. We got people saying Attica was accumulation, a wave of uprising nationwide following George Jackson murder.
yes, it went from California. You had some in Chicago. Then you had like the tombs and stuff here in New York. You know what I'm saying? Nah, Attica didn't happen in a capsule. That was a continuous movement of resistance. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, we popping just like Haiti. Once Haiti popped off and Tucson and them got they independence, it started popping everywhere, all in the Virgin Islands and all of that. Then it came to the shores of America. So that's how movements happen. That's how things go. It's just not one thing, boom, Attica.
So
Nah,
we good. So we got some energy.